On its own, the saw is not very cool or useful. It can hurt the player, and that's about it. But if we put on a Goomba Boot, then suddenly we can bounce on these, and this makes very uncontrollable, very chaotic platforms. So without the Goomba Boot, these can harm the player and are something to be avoided, but with the Goomba Boot, they are a useful tool to be used by the player. I can make a very cool proof of concept level with this, so let's go ahead and do that. As you look at me make the level, let's talk about what it's actually going to be, because it's a bit of an odd one. Basically, I'm going to have a start at the end, but there will be a clear condition that you need a Goomba Boot. So the only way to do that is to go through a gauntlet and get a Goomba Boot at the end. And the gauntlet will have a ton of platforming challenges with saw blades and stuff, and you will be platforming on on-off blocks. So when you get the Goomba Boot, you hit an on-off block, and all the ones that you were platforming on before are now gone, and all that's left to platform on is the saw blades. So on your way to get the boot, you are avoiding the saw blades, and on your way back to the end, you are using the saw blades to get to the other side. Clever, I think. I thought it was clever. And this brings me to something that I would like to talk about, and it can help your level stand out, and that is pacing. You see, most levels follow a very standard pacing. You start and you go from the beginning of the level all the way to the end in one straight line. You may have a subworld here or there, or maybe it's split up into different sections, but most of the time it is a linear path, and you go through that, and it gets harder as you go on, and then you get to the goal. But with this one, it still has a growing difficulty curve, but it curves in a strange way. While we're going to the Goomba Boot, at the beginning, it's easy because there are a lot of on-off blocks and not a lot of saws, and as we move to the end, there are more saws and not a lot of on-off blocks. But once we get the Goomba Boot, that is reversed. So at the beginning, it's easier because there are a lot of saws, and at the end, it's harder because there are not a lot of saws. So we have kind of a difficulty curve in two halves. At the beginning, it curves upward until the halfway point, where it goes back down, and then it curves up again. So that can really help you stand out with the pacing of your level. So if you have a unique pacing, then it will definitely stand out and people are more likely to remember it. I hope that all made sense. Now let's go to uploading that level. Hey, I would just like to apologize for the sudden drop in video quality. All of this footage just decided, hey, what if I was laggy? The first thing we see is a little odd. It's a plain room with a door, and the reason that is so that we can go to the very end where the goal is, so that we can basically just start the level from here. So here we go, some platforming challenges with all the saw blades. Those don't have a double purpose, I'm sure. Going between those two, and this part is a little tricky with the timing. Whew. Yeah, okay. So we go, and this part is a little bit easier. It's timing related. Wonder what those on-off blocks down there are for. That's not important. Well, dying probably is. We got back here, and this is where we get the Goomba Boot, and the Shelmet is just for ease of use. You'll see that in a minute why I did that. So we go over here. This part's kind of easy because there are a lot of saw blades, and this area is why I have the Shelmet. So if you jump into the saw blades, then it's not totally ruined. Well, hey, wasn't that a cool part that I did in the first try? Yeah. Okay, so this is the very end. Let's see if I can... Wow, I do that first try, but not the other. I mean, I did the other one first try also. But that is the end, and I'd say that that was pretty good with a unique idea, and it can help your level stand out. I hope you learned something. Goodbye.